What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Indie Inkwell. We've been gone a little while, but we are back. I am here, as always, with my co-host, Michael, a.k.a. Longbox Entertainment. What's going on, my guy?
What's up, man? Nothing much, man. I'm very excited to be here as always. It's a very special episode. It also marks our 1 year
A
anniversary.
very late 1 year
A
anniversary.
very
We
late,
missed
very
our
late.
own 1 year
Yes,
birthday,
yes.
everybody,
Because it was
back in
actually
November. But
the
yes,
8th,
we've been
right?
around for about a year. We got some really cool stats to share at the end of the show because the show is not about us. So we are going to wait until the end. But we are here with, if you guys missed it, we did have a panel at GalaxyCon Columbus just not too long ago. And the camera decided it was going to cut out about 15 minutes into the discussion. So we decided to have all the panel guests back onto the show to do this right. Now, unfortunately, Jack Wallace from the Columbus Scribbler could not join us this evening. He had a scheduling conflict. But with us again is Jay Kalagayan from Mest Comics and first time guests Matt Sparks and his wife Lauren Sparks. Guests back onto the show to do this right. Now, unfortunately, we got a little bit of an echo going on. Who's a scheduling conflict? But
I was about to text you.
With us again is Jay Kalagayan from Mest Comics. Hang on one second here, everybody. It would not be an episode of the Indie Inkwell if we weren't dealing with something. Now, does someone not have headphones in? That might be the problem.
It might be me. I do not have
I was about to text you.
Let's say, are you able to put headphones in? Hang on one second here, everybody. It would not be an episode of the Indie Inkwell if we weren't dealing with something. Now, does someone not have headphones in? That might be the problem.
It might be me. I do not have headphones.
Hang on one
Bear with
second,
us.
everybody. Bear with us.
Bear with us. It's been a minute.
It's all good. Well, Jay, while they're figuring out that audio situation, I don't think you are echoing at the moment. So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody who have not seen you before kind of who you are and how you got into comic books in the industry.
All right, so my name is Jay Kalagayan, and I run Mest Comics. And I've been doing Mest Comics for about 8 years. It's a comic book that takes place in the sewers. And let's see, what else? It stars Lilliput, and she's kind of our tour guide to the weird, wet, wild world beneath our feet. Mest is the nickname for the Metropolitan Sewer District. And yeah, we've been doing it for the last 8 years. And we're gonna start bridging out, doing a couple cryptid things, couple folklore things. But Mest is our flagship book that we're going to continue doing it. So if you want to check it out, you can check it out for free at Mest Comics, MESSED comics.com.
Heck yeah. All right. I think Lauren and Matt are still fixing the audio issue, or are we there?
Are you muting them? Are you muting them?
That's awesome. I am not muting them at the moment.
You don't have God power? I thought you had God power.
Oh, I do. Okay, I just have chosen not to use it yet. I want to see if we can get this fixed.
So you're a friendly deity. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, exactly.
I got it. Well, let's talk about mistakes in indie comics. I got a bunch of those. No, I'm just kidding. Technical difficulties.
Well, like I said, it wouldn't be an episode of the Indie Inkwell if we didn't have a couple technical difficulties.
I've seen a bunch of episodes. I think I don't see any problems.
You know, we got a couple. I mean, we just play it off quite well.
Yeah.
We play it up.
Okay, Matt, can we hear you now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, I'm not hearing an echo, I don't think. Lauren, are you there or?
I mean, I can hear you all, but it's still echoing, and I cannot understand.
Oh no.
Okay, let me see.
This is why we need a systems guy.
It's doubling like 7 seconds. It's like a 7-second lag.
Okay, hang on one second. Okay, everybody.
It worked perfectly when we tested earlier. What is it?
Everybody go into their audio settings.
Uh-huh.
And there should be a button that says echo cancellation.
Ooh, That's a button.
There it is.
See if that helps.
I have
The settings, the gear button.
echo cancellation turned on.
Okay.
Am
You're
I
still hearing a bad
someone
echo?
who can still hear the echo?
I think so.
Should I leave and come back?
Maybe.
Wait a minute. It seems. Never mind. It's still echoing.
All right. Leave, come back in. We'll get you right back in here. All right. So Matt, why don't you go ahead and give everybody kind of your origin story and how you got into comic books in the first place.
Okay, well, I'm Matthew Sparks, MTS Comics for short. I got into comics ever since I was 2. I just love drawing comics. But I kind of got into the indie comics, just went to school for comics and ended up just wanting to do my own thing, and been doing it ever since. Pretty simple, straightforward.
Right. Okay, hold on. We've got Lauren jumping back in. We good to go?
Yeah.
I'm not hearing an echo. I think we're good. All right. So Lauren, give us your origin story. How did you kind of get into comic books, and what was your kind of journey into the industry real quick?
I started with a love of animation first, but it was kind of simultaneous. I really loved both cartoons and newspaper comics, and in high school I got really big into manga. And when I used to work at Kings Island, a friend of mine lent me Blankets by Craig Thompson, and that just made me go so good. So I'm like, yay, there's the American indie comics that do the fun stuff like the manga does.
I was gonna say, because you said at the panel at GalaxyCon you weren't really into the superheroes all that much or anything.
Actually, I was talking with a couple friends earlier. What do we respond with when we say we draw comics and we love comics, and people ask what's your favorite superhero, because none of us like superheroes, and my answer is Thorn from Bone.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
She flies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that counts.
that counts. That counts.
Yeah, what you have here is we are a slice of the Cincinnati comic creators, because we're all out of Cincinnati, and it's a fledgling, growing scene. A lot of good highlights, and we're all in a group that kind of support each other, which is really wonderful. I think if you can find your tribe, or just find people you can just chat with at least once a month, that's what we do. We meet up, so it's really a nice support group.
And you guys got a lot of like indie, like anthology publications down there. Like you've got a lot of stuff down there where there's like cartoonists doing illustrations and like little short stories. Like there's a lot coming out of Cincinnati right now.
Yeah, we're with Corpse Flower Press. Kat Klockow produces it, Christina Walt, and it's called the Cincinnati Cabinet of Curiosities. And it's local artists doing local legend, lore, and cryptids.
I would say mine's not within arm's reach, but I have a couple of the books too.
That's the first issue. Dylan Spieg, one of my artists I work with a lot with Mest. We did the Mermaids of the Ohio River. That's the lead story in there. And then Lauren has an amazing picture of the Pope Creek Lick monster, the goat. The goat
Yeah,
man.
the Pope Lick monster.
It's really good in there.
He's so happy.
He's
Oh, that's awesome.
He's just the nicest goat man. He just wants to train to run over you. That's all.
Immediately, I looked at the toes for some reason. I don't know. I was like, it's toes.
I think that says more about you than the picture, sir.
Maybe.
What kind of show is
Don't
this?
judge.
What kind of show is this? What?
I was saying, yeah, this is turning into Indie Equal After Dark real quick. Anyway, so I know, Lauren, with your whole origin story, one thing you didn't get a chance to touch on at GalaxyCon was your art school experience. So this episode is kind of wanting to go over the whole industry side of the indie scene, because it's very different than the big mainstream Marvel and DC systems. So what was your, first impressions of the industry? Because I guess art school would be that kind of first impression, right?
Yeah. So me and Matt actually met each other at the Savannah College of Art and Design, SCAD. So he's the best thing I got from
So
SCAD.
at least it wasn't all bad.
No, it wasn't all bad. I made tons of great friends. And SCAD, the sequential art department, would bring in a bunch of professional editors every year to do portfolio reviews. That was also very cool. You would get pointers from actual working editors.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was very fun. And we would also, several of the professors would organize a mini comics fair with just the students. All have, like, you're gonna get a table, you need to put a tablecloth on that table, you need to print your little school comics that you did for your project, and they make you try it out. And it's usually just other students attending, but still.
I mean, it's a way to dip your toes into that scene, though, because if you're watching this, you've never been to especially a bigger convention, it can get overwhelming really fast just with being there, let alone trying to set everything up and organize or run anything in that chaos.
Indeed.
GalaxyCon's a perfect example.
Yeah, the
Very
fact that
big.
our whole setup went as smoothly as it did with everything that was going on, I was astonished.
So they don't like let people like set up beforehand, or
There's
because I've
10
never seen the
minutes.
setup.
You
between
get like a
each
10-minute
panel.
setup each day before the con opens up. They have like a load-in
That's
day the day before
insane.
the convention usually, but that in of itself can be chaos.
And you can't come in like a little earlier than the 10-minute slot.
Sorry, it's 10
Wow.
minutes between panels in the
Oh,
panel
between
room.
panels. Okay.
For
okay,
Artist
okay.
Alley, you usually can set up the evening before.
Okay, even before. Okay.
Yeah, but we
I
had
was like,
we
wow.
actually had a 5-minute window. We were supposed to be out of that room, but we stayed probably another 10 minutes talking to people and taking pictures and shit.
Oops.
Well, no,
But yeah, so what was those were the good parts of your art school experience. What were the parts that may not have been so pleasant?
Yeah, Jay, I'm sorry. He's heard me rant about this so many times.
I got to let her get it out of her system though, because I
Okay.
know you wanted to touch on it at GalaxyCon really bad. So
It's just that if you don't have the money for art school up front, it's so expensive. Don't get into that debt because it'll hamper you really bad for decades after. That's it. And one thing that didn't exist when me and Matt were in college back in 2007, 10 was all these amazing online classes that are available now.
right, where
So-
you don't have to get a dorm and show up and buy all this crazy supplies, and you can just use what you've got.
You spend a couple $100 to learn about comics from an artist that you already know you love and who you already know knows what they're doing. State schools are so much cheaper. Get a business degree or a graphic design degree or something that will help you in your comics journey, and then learn the specialized stuff either on your own just by doing it or taking online classes. That's what I would recommend right now.
I'll say in YouTube University, you can learn anything. So
That's true. That's true.
I would
And-
say with that, while we were in school too, like we've talked about this multiple times, but while we were in school, the industry was actually changing, and Lauren's pretty much hit the nail on the head with that, where you had online school, online classes and things like that just started showing up. We didn't really have that, so as we were coming out of school, the whole industry had just shifted to a different kind of process. Some of the lessons we learned are still beneficial, but it created a whole new ball game when we came out of school. So
Yeah. School helps you learn a lot faster when you've got someone who's like, I'm telling you what you need to do. You need to try this, and then I'm going to tell you what you did wrong, and you have to fix it. Like, you learn a lot faster that way.
right.
But I don't think getting yourself into horrible debt for decades is quite worth that.
Oh yeah, no.
No,
That's
I hear,
really what I wanted to say.
no, I hear from a couple of teachers that they're trying to teach work for hire, just contracts, just meeting deadlines and business things at CCAD and at Art Academy down here in Cincinnati. So I think it is shifting, but yeah, you're right about debt. Debt is hard.
Well,
So
no,
did y'all
I
go into art school like knowing like, hey, I want to do comics, or was it something that like kind of came later on or towards the end?
I did know. The reason I went to SCAD is because it was one of 3 schools I could find in 2005 that taught both 2D animation and comics illustration. Only 3. Now there are so many more. It's great.
Oh, now
I'm
there's
jealous,
like
but it's
probably
great.
5 or 6 in every state now.
Yeah. I got
The
into
world has
it.
changed.
I got into it wanting to be in comics. So, like, as soon as I realized that Marvel and DC editors were there, I jumped into the dark hole of debt just to go.
Oh man, that's
Well,
insane.
and I
'Cause
think
I was
that's
gonna
the
ask.
trap a lot of people just like start getting into is they want to break into those big 2 companies. They want to be a Marvel or a DC person, and it's like you don't have a lot of control over there over really anything.
I don't
No.
get the hype.
Oh,
What were you gonna say,
no.
Mike?
So the reason why I had asked that question because I was just wondering, because I know from a lot of people that are in any type of like arts, if they're trying to get like an arts degree or anything, right? You might have people that may like belittle a certain medium, right? So like, for example, I had recently watched the Christopher Reeve documentary that's on Max, right? And the fact that when he took the role of Superman, people were treating him like, oh, that's not a serious role and all of this, and that it was like goofy. They belittled the role, right? So since y'all went in it and they had these programs for 2D animation and 2D illustration, I guess y'all probably never had to deal with anything like that, or was there issues?
We had to deal with it. I would say, in my personal opinion, animation had a lot more respect than the comic book area in the school. I without getting too verbal, we were kind of the outcasts in there because we weren't popular art, as you would say it. We weren't really like the fashion artist or the abstract, painterly explore out there guys. We
Or
were
like the
just
fine arts people.
yes. Our
Air quotes for the listeners.
we were basically kind of just we almost. I actually found this out later that our department, the sequential department, was almost called Funny Books by our owner. And it
Oh,
was
wow.
the dean at the time and a couple of the other professors that went, no. So I would say, my personal opinion, I think the comics industry, at least in our school, didn't have a lot of respect put on it. And that was before all the big movies came out as well, I would argue. So we weren't really we weren't really put into pop culture like we are now. So
I wonder how it is now.
I was gonna say, Jay, did you have like kind of a similar experience coming into the industry for the first time?
I would say no. I would say that I went to Xavier University, and I was getting my nursing degree. I was going to be a nurse.
Oh, that's right. You told me that was.
I spent all my spare time writing for the newspaper, doing theater, everything I could do, because obviously I did not want to be a nurse. However, I started a theater company called No Theater Cincinnati right out of college. And it was nice working 3-4 days as a nurse to help pay the bills so you can, feed your theater habit or your comic book habit. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard when you have these passions and you want to fulfill them, but you do need to pay the rent. You do need to pay the bills.
Yeah. I think it has changed over time. I suspect, like what Matt was saying about general respect for an artistic industry, like everyone knows Pixar movies make millions and billions of dollars. So yeah, that gets respect. But now I feel like it is changing, but it's more the people in the know who realize it first and not the general public of readers. Whoever publishes Raina Telgemeier's books, I don't know if it's Scholastic or whoever, they know. They know comics can make money.
Oh, yeah.
But I also think it's a lot easier to make comics than it's ever been. Printing is a lot easier. Online, you can get your stories out there. Access to your work's copy machine, and you could do some stories that way. So I think it's a lot easier to tell stories. I just feel like you definitely need to just sit down and find that story to tell.
And practice.
Sure.
I was saying, especially with all like the webtoons and tapas of the worlds, like you can publish your stuff for free now.
Yep. Don't even have to build
That
your
is
own
true.
website.
No, you just put it
actually
on there and like, hey, I posted my book here. Put it on your Instagram and you're good to go. Like
that actually used to be the business model for the first few years. That it seemed like I had a professor named Jancy. For the life of me, I can't remember his full name right now.
Mike Jancy.
Thank you, Mike Jancy. And he basically, right as we were about to graduate, I think it was like 2 days before we were about to graduate, was like, okay, I told you to get this book. This whole thing's changed. It seems to be the pattern is put something out for free, make a book, and then your fans buy it. And if you look at a lot of web comics, that's kind of what it was. It was, I put this thing out and you guys can read it for free. And then, hey, I got all these things. I made a book. And then the fans who love you kind of go, hey, yay, I'll buy that. Because they fell in love with the online strips and things like that. So
That is true. It's kind of almost like I guess it's just the way how the human brain is like wired, right? When you really love something, even though you're technically getting it for free, you want like a piece of it, right? I think that's the reason why, some of us collect, I don't know, action figures or just even physical comics, because something hits different in your brain, in your psyche, that, oh my gosh, this is mine. Like I own like a small little piece of this thing that I love, right? So
it's that human thing. We want to keep doing the thing that makes us happy.
Yes. It's like an automatic like dopamine hit,
Mm-hmm. I also think when you like support, like say for an example, a Kickstarters, a lot of comics I know really jump on with Kickstarter. I have a lot of friends who've done it, and you have that feeling of, I helped make this, and your reward is seeing it in your hand. So it's kind of like a mini version of an actual comic, making a comic, except you're just the financier in that situation instead of actually making the art and the story and the designs. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, because I've had countless feelings where I've just seen friends that their Kickstarter goes and it's like, yes, and then you get the book and it's like, I helped. So
you made it and you did it.
Right.
It's in my hand.
100%. So with the industry changing so rapidly like it has been over the past few years, what are some of the bigger challenges that you guys have faced as creators trying to adapt to all that?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you go, Jay, because we're all older than 30 years old. So
I was just saying, I remember all the answers you guys gave at the panel, so I'm more.
Lauren, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm 25. Asian don't raisin, okay?
So I remember when you had to build a website if you wanted to share your comic online. Or I remember when what you had to do was get into a syndicate and put your comic strip in the newspaper. So like everyone who's younger than us doesn't remember all that. And I feel like they've got an advantage because they know a lot more. And we're all still like, what's all this? It's what? We can't do the same thing any longer. It don't work. It make no money. Oh.
I mean, I would say as a comic book writer, admittedly in my brain, I have a hard time with the scrolling format. And I'll learn that. That is an obstacle that I just need to practice on. Just the idea of like how a lot of the webtoons are just scroll. Because I'm like panel, side panel. I'm used to like the Z.
No, I believe you can still do that on like webtoons and tapas, right?
Yeah.
We'll set it up that way.
I've had a lot of requests of just scrolling. So horizontal panels. I mean,
I've got to assume that's
Yeah.
the younger crowd, right? Like,
Yeah, there you go.
I believe it would
Yeah.
be.
Is just breaking through and finding an audience. So you keep, you have a unique idea, you keep it consistent, you're telling a quality story, and it's just finding that audience, especially online, because there are a lot of options out there. So just really trying to find your audience. But if you can build up a loyal following, you can have a small or medium-sized audience, but it could be mighty to help you support what you're doing.
I don't remember if it was on Comic Lab or something else, that some other industry person where they're like, if you can get 1,000 people who love you, that you don't really need that much more than that. You're like, oh, I have to sell 1 million. No, you don't. You can make a living on a lot less than that.
right. I think everybody's wanting, like, thinking that comic books are going to make them millionaires.
That hasn't happened since.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there
Yeah.
wouldn't be the Hero Initiative if the comic books made people millionaires.
It's not
Yeah.
1994 anymore, and that's
Yeah.
kind of sad, honestly.
I think that
Money-wise.
train rode its course after about a year, and it was done.
I mean, if we're being real, like a lot of practices in the 90s is kind of what caused that. Like a lot of, overprinting things, just a lot of.
Hey, are you talking crap about my chromium covers?
Hey,
I got
Hey, I have a guilt. That's one of my guilty pleasures are the chromium covers, man. I got a whole
variants.
box
I got my 3D variant chromium.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of folks who were making comics at that time who made a lot of money at the time, and they were just lucky they were in the right place doing the right thing.
Like the Todd McFarlanes
So,
of the world, and
I
guys
feel
like
like-
that.
Yeah, I feel like we're still looking for what's the next thing that really works. There probably was another, like in the early 2000s, there were a lot of people who were making a lot of money running ads on their comics because they built their own website. And they would get, like, is it PvP and a lot of those websites, webcomics that got just tons of attention in the early 2000s and made a lot of money on ads. And that worked for a while. And then Google was like, oh, we don't like giving you that money. And now that don't work anymore. So what's next? I don't know.
I think some of the biggest struggles, like for me personally, is just the ever-changing social media. For a while, it was just Facebook, and then it was Instagram, and then it became Twitter, and then it became TikTok, and then whatever's next, And in some ways, whether you're good at one of those or not, at least for me, you have to have some sort of presence on those apps. And you can always find your strength. Like for me, the biggest strength was TikTok, because I would create funny skits that promoted my books.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of those things where as things change, you have to adapt. And if you don't adapt well, it kind of flounders. So finding that, as Jay put out, you need to find that audience. But I think at the same time, you kind of have to know how to promote yourself on these platforms so that you can be noticed. So,
and I would say, Matt, on the side of that, as Lauren says, I'm older. Old school tactics wise, I'm collecting email addresses. I'm collecting mailing addresses sometimes, and just to have that direct contact with people. To text them, to not in an illegal or annoying way, but
say you got a new book coming out,
especially when you're campaigning, or you're just you got a new book out, or just sending them happy holidays. So I think there's a way around the ever-changing algorithms with just straight up email or any form of direct contact.
Adam Smith has got a good question. Another former guest of the show. Do you think TikTok is better than Insta for selling books? I feel like Instagram has been better for me.
I'd say for me okay. I would say for me, TikTok was the best, because I got to express my personality and my subtle wanting to be an actor and movie guy hunger, and that's what worked for me. And TikTok was my strength. We had a question like this in the con, and I'd say somebody asked a similar question. I'd say it really depends on you. Like
Mhm.
you may be better at advertising on Instagram. You may be better than advertising on Facebook. For me, it was TikTok because people, I hope, liked my personality and what I was doing. And then once people started to realize that I had a book, I started getting questions like, where can I buy it? Where can I get it? Things like that. So it's almost like for me, it's just people kind of liked me first and they went, oh, it's kind of that whole thing of they dug what I was doing. So they wanted to support if they could. So I'd say
The
it depends.
frustrating. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it depends on the platform and you. It's a case by case basis. So
That is the thing that's frustrating, that you have to get lucky in the algorithm and get a bunch of followers who then realize, oh, he's an artist, I want to buy his book. That's not happened to me. Like, don't ask me about selling comics online. My favorite place to sell comics is at library conventions.
But I mean that there's no wrong way to do it, I don't feel like anymore.
True.
Because I see so many people do it so many different ways. I see there's a group of guys here in Columbus. I don't know who they are because I can never stop them. I never have time to stop, but I see them walking around handing people little mini comics all the time.
Oh wow. No, I think you just gotta go take your own path. What works for you works for you. It might not work for anybody else, but
I think that kind of falls under what Jay said about finding your audience.
Mhm.
And I think some of that is what platform do you best stand on to find your audience. So
And
yeah.
maybe it's not an internet platform.
It could be you
That's-
go from con to con
that's
and
true.
make a relationship. And then that
Mhm.
person
Mhm.
sees you. Like we're very local. We haven't been able to go out of state in a long time, or at least not too far out of state. So you see the same people. And usually if they don't get you on the first time, they'll get you on the second time. Like I had a situation where someone was like, yeah, I didn't get it last time because I didn't have money, but I want to get it this time. And sometimes you build up relationships the old fashioned way of just meeting people by meeting, and growing that audience that
Well,
way.
and that's how me and Jay started talking. Was I randomly walked up to him at Gem City Comic Con, I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and was like, "Hey, man, you want to be interviewed for your book?" And he's like, "Sure." Like it does. It just takes being uncomfortable sometimes, just asking strangers stuff. Like,
That's a general life lesson. Nobody knows what they're doing. Just ask the question. It's fine.
yeah,
What's
we're
the
all
only-
just as
No.
lost as the next person. So,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Only a jerk is going to act hoity-toity and act like you're doing it wrong. Nobody knows what they're doing.
Or an
That's
overly stimulated introvert.
That's facts.
No, but I would say the in person, whether it's like a space in Columbus, CXC in Columbus, the Cincinnati Expo down here, I would say just consistency. And I don't think you even need to always have a table. I had a great time at GalaxyCon. I did the panel. Thank you, JJ, for inviting me to do the panel. And then I got to network. I got to talk to a lot of different people. I'm seeing Mike. We're seeing Mike in January, right? We're doing Fan Expo New Orleans.
Yes. Mhm.
And so, like, you don't always have to have a table, but I would just say keep it consistent, be friendly. And I totally get being an introvert. Maybe just have a small goal, like I'm going to network with four artists, this con, something like that. I think is very reasonable. And oh yeah, it is fun. I had a great time at GalaxyCon. I got to meet Mark Bagley, Jimmy Chung. I mean, it was great. So it was a wonderful opportunity.
I agree. Just keep showing up, whether you have a table or not. And I love what Adam put in the chat about just getting to know the folks who run your local comic shop.
mm-hmm.
They want to try.
100%.
They want to host signings. Our favorite comic shop is called Comics to Games in Florence, Kentucky, and
Yeah.
we're
US
over there
42.
every free on US 42. And every free comic book day, we're there. Sometimes we have a table and we've got our mini comics, and it's like, okay, you're here for the free comics, but people will buy your comics too.
Oh yeah, well, because they're in
wow.
there already saving a couple bucks because they're getting some stuff for free.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
The stores
Might as well,
generally
yeah.
are running discounts on their other stuff too on Free Comic Book Day. Most stores I've seen. So they've got extra money to spend $5-10 on a comic they've never seen.
Also, can we just recognize that Lauren is the den mother of Cincinnati comic creators? She will come to Gem City and she'll watch everybody's table so they can take a break. She'll run and get lunches. She is an amazing supporter of all of us. I mean,
every
Used to be on
group
the
needs
stage
that
crew.
though.
yeah,
That's
seriously, you're wonderful about that.
If I don't have my own table, then I'm the table stage crew.
Oh, great. You came up to space. You were watching tables while we took a break. I mean, because we understand it could be a very long day. And just to have that kind of person just looking out for you is always
right. Well, like you remember when we ran into each other, Jay, at a Torg last year
yeah,
at the
that's
gaming
right.
expo. You were like, dude, can you watch my table real quick while I run to the restroom? Like, yeah, I got
Hey,
you,
if
bro.
you're a
I'm not even
solo-
there working. I'm there as press. Like,
If you're a solo act, I mean, sometimes you are behind that table. I'm gonna say like 10 hours.
That
Easy.
even
That's a long
GalaxyCon,
time,
the Artist Alley is open at 9 a.m. for VIPs through 8 p.m.
Through 8 p.m. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's a 12-hour workday, man.
and if
Like,
you're a
Yeah.
solo act, you are there. So it's always nice. I think Motor City, I think CXC, they when they can, they have volunteers watch your table. And I know like you can have, I've always had wonderful neighbors when I do different cons and stuff, help look out for each other. But sometimes it's just nice to have someone behind your table, just making sure nothing happens while you're gone. It's your
I saw folks doing that at GalaxyCon, watching each other's tables just from left and right. Like, I just met this person, but I need to go to the
especially on
bathroom.
the day you guys
so
were
they're
there, 'cause
behind
on
my table
Saturday,
now.
that place was a madhouse.
It was
Oh, it was great. It was great. What's my favorite? My other favorite is oh my gosh, I feel like I'm Monk from the TV show because I never want to shake hands anymore. Because if I shake someone's hand and I'm at a table for 10 hours, I'm like, I am literally not going to wash my hands for like
Hand
at least
sanitizer.
2
So I
hours.
noticed you're a fist bump kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm fist
Yeah.
bumping, and I got the hand sanitizer because Comic-Con cred is real.
Oh, it really
Oh, yeah.
is.
Oh yeah.
I
People
always
make
get
fun of
sick
me all the
after a
time
con.
because I'm wearing a mask out in public still sometimes. But I'm like, hey, if it's a
Do
big
it.
crowd,
Woo,
I don't
yeah.
want to get that con crud, man. That's
Yep.
Yeah.
that was, even before COVID, that stuff was you would just get wrecked coming home from a
Yeah.
convention.
It
Hand
knocked you out
sanitizer.
pretty good. So
Mhm.
Indeed. So I guess maybe the moral of that story is go and be the person who watches other people's tables, and everyone will love you forever.
Right. You want to
That's
have the
facts.
ultimate networking opportunity. Be
No,
the
I-
person that everybody trusts with their tables. Like, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, in my mind, it's if you want the community to support you, support the community. So there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely, and you do that. We all do that. We've done that all for each other. It's great.
Well, that's
Are
one thing
there-
that me and Mike have noticed with indie comic creators is it's not a very it's competitive in the sense that there's a lot in the market, but it's not competitive in the sense that most of you guys are not trying to outdo each other.
'Cause you're
Everybody
usually
just
all
wants to
doing
support
different
each other
stuff.
and build each other up.
Yeah.
And I hear horror stories from the bigger companies where it's not always the case.
well, I think for the bigger companies, it's like most of us, we have second jobs, we have things to fall back on. And I know in the industry now, there are still people that do that. We have friends that do that. But for a while there, it was like you're on a book and you stay on that book and you stay on that book for as long as you can. And don't like one of our professors, Tom Lyle, talked about when he would be drawing one of the lower Spider-Man books in the early 90s. Begley was on Amazing and he would draw on the back or in the borders. Begley sucks, Lyle's better. And he'd do like a little Spider-Man. And there was that kind of competition where he was just so ticked off that he was taking off the main book. Or I can't remember if he was trying to he was taking off the main book or if he was trying to get on the main book. But it was one of those things where he was just, it's those little jabs of trying to keep your somebody,
Trying to keep your spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I think with indie comics, like Lauren kind of touched on, we're all kind of doing different stuff. We all have different ideas. They're all separate passions. So it's just kind of like, hey, I hope it goes well, and we try to watch out for each other, and if we find a common goal, we try to support each other when we can.
Well, like the artwork I'm showing, like everybody's doing such different stuff. So it's not like some of you guys don't even, have the same target audience necessarily. So there's not a reason for you guys to really compete with each other.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of fantasy and slice of life. Matt's doing kind of a superhero, post-apocalyptic fantasy fighting thing, and Jay's got the fighting monsters in the sewers. But the Lilliput, I love her.
Oh, she's awesome.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's one good thing I love about the indie scene, and it's kind of why I gravitated towards it more and more as I started, being content creator, was that it was just less drama, less people like this person's better than this person, or this person shouldn't be drawing this person, or blah 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 blah.
No,
I know Mike can
not
attest that goes
middle.
constantly on TikTok. So
Yeah, things get heated pretty quickly.
On TikTok. Oh my gosh.
get
I don't know what I've done to my algorithm that I don't get any of that drama on my feed. I think it's
consider
I don't
yourself lucky. 'Cause
Yeah, you're
it's
lucky.
draining listening to it.
Yeah. You're so lucky. Just speak less. Yeah.
I get everyone who is making cool pottery or crocheting little animals, or
That sounds like so much more fun to watch.
That sounds peaceful. That sounds very peaceful. And protect that at all costs.
Right.
Hi,
Oh,
Becky.
man.
So with how crazy the industry side of everything is, how do you guys go about trying to balance the creative aspect with trying to manage the business side of it? Because in the indie scene, you guys don't have the big Marvels and DCs behind you paying for everything. You don't have a big marketing team going to everything for you. You don't have all that. So how do you go about trying to stay creative and run that business side of things?
Jay, go first.
Oh my gosh.
You know the most.
I have a 10-year plan, very succinct, very strategic. The goal is breaking even. That's my 10. That's my 10-year goal. We are doing it for the love. We are doing it for the passion. We're not going to be millionaires at it, but I think that there's ways to be strategic as far as your expenses, your expectations. I think that it also goes in the creation. I think that your first book out of the gate shouldn't be your 200-page graphic novel. I mean, I think maybe just a couple of issues first, or just even one a year is pretty logical as far as your finances. Yeah, I know. And the scene, I love that. I love the pancakes one you do, Lauren. The Space Award-winning comic that you did on pancakes. But anyway,
you mean this one right here?
Oh, I love that part. That's a good one.
Did you get that off my Gumroad? I've got one copy left.
I actually pulled this off your Instagram. Believe
you want
it or
my
not.
copy? I'll give you it to you, but I mean, I want it. But anyway, but I think that just trying to be as strategic as possible is about your expenses, about what you want to create. When I first started Mest, they were 8-page one and done stories that honestly, I didn't know I was going to have one artist do all the story arc. So I did it. So it was 8-page one and done stories because it was possible. I could have had 5 different artists for the first year. So I didn't know if I was going to have 5 different artists, but I was really lucky with Dylan that it was just one artist, and we continue to work together, which is fantastic.
Yeah, the 25-page floppy is probably a good size to start with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've even seen people, start with an 8-page ash can or even a 1-page little short story. Like, just get something out there.
That was good enough for V for Vendetta, Alan Moore. I mean, come on, let's go there.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did he start with really short ones like that?
He
I don't
started
know what
with
you're talking
the
about.
Well,
Yeah.
like I think like Shonen Jump and with 2000 AD and Deadline, they are all doing the 8-pagers. And if you can't tell a good story, if you can tell a good story in 8 pages, then you got to refine your work. And
That's
so,
how Judge Dredd got started.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you can
Yeah.
do that, so that's and for me, a 20-page when I was starting, a 20-page books or 24-page book sounded a little daunting. But like, if you can break it up into chapters, and that's why I started out with the 8-pagers. Oh,
Yeah, yes, you did, Adam, but it was well done. I enjoyed it. So
and that is, and again, that's not a question of quality. It's a question of like getting the
Right.
books out there, so then you can start building that following and getting support.
Yeah, I don't know
Volume
if
in the
Victor
beginning
Dandridge
is-
is still watching, but I know he started with lots of single issue, just short stories too, all the time.
Oh,
4 years, man.
4 years.
I mean, that's dedication, though.
That is.
Wait, your original question. Sorry, we've tangented.
You're fine.
So,
No, the original question was balancing the creative aspect of what you do with trying to promote and market and all that other stuff.
yeah. So me and Matt both have day jobs, so that's really what's supporting our comics, and I don't have a lot figured out yet. I'm just trying to get good.
I mean, that's what we're all trying to do, right? We're all just trying to get good at what we're doing.
Spoiler alert, Lauren, you are good. So
yes.
So
Agreed.
But I'm real slow.
all right,
Fast is not always
Hey.
equal good, though.
Okay,
So.
I'm gonna share something. I'm gonna share something that one of our professors did, and I say this every single time there's doubt. If somebody compliments you, take the damn compliment. Even if you don't fully believe it, I'll add this. One of our friends from the group said, "Don't disparage yourself in front of your potential audience, because that in some ways, when you devalue yourself, you're devaluing, for lack of a better word, your brand. You're devaluing you. So why would somebody want to support you if you're devaluing yourself? So I would say those two kind of go together, and just if somebody compliments you, don't go, oh, well, yeah, well, there's this and that, unless it's like a really close friend and you're just kind of opening up. But if it's just a general person, just say thank you and move forward.
That's not professional. That kind of is along the same lines of price your work what it's worth. Price your book or your artwork really what it's worth, because if people see that you value it, then they are more likely to value it too. There's always going to be idiots, but we don't care about them.
Right, but I'm going to be more receptive to the person that's like calm at their table with like $10, $20, $30 books and just really wants to like concentrate on what they're doing. They're talking to one person, they're not trying to stand out in the middle with a loudspeaker and yelling at everybody that walks past them. Like that can work, I guess, but some of those guys, they draw you in and then you're standing there for 20, 30 minutes and then it's like, dude, the book's not even that great. Like, and you just, screamed at me basically.
Hey, at least they gave you a show.
I mean, I guess, but normally when there's a show I don't enjoy, I can change the channel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you could always just bring a remote and just be doing this, and they'll be like, what?
Right. But there's definitely
Yeah.
But
You see
like
this
you were
weird thing
saying,
I'm doing?
Matt,
Come over here and I'll tell you why.
right. But like what you were saying, Matt, like it pays to have confidence in yourself, but you also don't want to, oversell yourself.
Yeah.
So I think there's like a very fine balance to be found with that.
I think for me, like when we go to cons, I'm going to go into a tangent, but like not being over arrogant in yourself, but you can tell when people are just excited to tell you about what they're working on. And then there's the other people that give you the pitch, and we all have that pitch. Oh, this is the story that I'm working on. It's about this, but I don't really try to reel people in. It's just kind of like, hey, I've got this thing, and if you want to see it, it's really cool. Pick it up. It's really awesome. I'm really proud of it. and people can really tell when you are very proud of your product instead of just being like, oh yeah, this is my thing, you know, just stuff like that.
Yeah. I think the people who are yelling, it's like they want literally everyone to come over to your table, but not every story is for every person. But like LeVar
Right.
Burton says, there is a person for every story.
I like that. I'm gonna have to steal that.
That's good. That's
I like
good.
that.
No, it's true. And I swear, if I like, the shared universe thing is a big thing right now.
Yeah.
It's a big
Even
selling point that
indies
guys
are
are using
doing
at cons lately. I've noticed is it's part of a shared universe. It's part of a shared universe. I'm like,
Literally don't care.
Just give me a
that
good
universe
story.
means nothing to me if I've never heard of it before, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like you got to give me a reason to dive into that. Like, because if you're giving me a whole new franchise of properties to get into, like, it's got to draw me in, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to read the one book that I really love and then want more to care
Right,
about the universe.
Mhm.
it's like trying to hand somebody a Spider-Man book and expecting them to like every Spider-Man. It's just no.
It has to be consistent, like
Yeah.
especially with like the shared universe comics, because that's like the big trend, of course. Like I have to really like whatever your main book is, like on a consistent basis, in order for me to be like, you know what? I like this character that's in this main book. Let me check out their little solo thing, you know, or it's all about, is it really like that good? Just saying, oh, shared universe, that's not gonna just spark me. If I'm gonna spend more money, right? Because you're asking your customer to spend more money on your product. Like I have to really make sure that, oh, I'm really into this. So like just saying shared universe is not gonna get me.
Bob's right.
Yeah.
Bob's usually right.
I love Bob.
Yes.
I have a
Yes.
question related to that. So this applies to both social media and to making comics. Like you were saying that this shared universe thing is a trend. It doesn't seem to me like chasing trends is generally worth it, but do y'all think it is? Can it be?
I don't think so.
I mean, and
Personally.
I
It
guess
sounds exhausting.
It's
Yeah.
exhausting.
if on social media for like just a general content creator like me and Michael are, I guess if you hop on the right trend at the right time with the right
Mhm.
take on that trend, yes, it can help. But the amount of effort and research required to do that is insane. And I just don't have the time or the energy for it.
I
I
was
put out what I
at,
want to put out. If people enjoy it, they enjoy it. If they don't, they don't. That's great. Like,
I was at Cartoon Crossroads Columbus, 2019 maybe. My favorite book. I'm sorry I forgot the artist, but it was an illustrated book of ramen, and it looks so delicious. So comics it's a medium to tell any story you want. So and so you can do autobio, you can do superheroes, you can do horror, and and if you want to create a whole universe, fine. But I would just say my only thing would be making sure it's organic. You're not forcing a universe on someone. Tell quality stories or do quality art and work, and you will find, and just be consistent. You can't expect to go to like GalaxyCon or the Cincinnati Comic Expo and expect to sell out all your books and make thousands and thousands of dollars the first time. I mean, it's where you're planting a lot of seeds. You're building yourself up, and you're building up your selection of books. Whether it's with, I was lucky enough with me, it was one comic with Mest for the last like 6-7 years, so I got to really build that up. But now I am starting to organically create other comics that are interesting to me. So I mean, we're expanding, which is great. But I feel like I've earned that expansion. I'm not trying to like
100%.
go too far
Yeah.
too fast.
Yeah.
No, because you gotta. Everybody wants to hit the ground at a full sprint.
Yeah.
With like 15 different characters out, with 20 different books out, and I'm like, dude, you need to get your main character, solid.
Yeah.
The way you've done it, Jay, Lilliput is solid. That's a main character right there. Like,
Yes.
and she's been around long enough now that we're invested in Lilliput. So
she's gonna kick your
that's
butt if you
where a
don't get
lot of
invested.
people are screwing up, I think, at these conventions and their indie books is they're expecting people to have that kind of buy-in right away. And so you got to build up a reputation. People have to trust you to spend money on your book.
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I met you 2 years ago. I've been on your show a couple of times. But like if I was doing that 200-page graphic novel, I think we'd still be working on it. So getting that work, getting out there, networking, talking to people, I think it builds up. And I think that's essential to know that. And there's always a huge success story that happens the first time out. I get it. But I mean,
oh yeah, I mean, you're gonna have your random The Walking Dead. You're gonna have stuff like that just pops it off out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's kind of the beauty of comics, though, because if you can see it and you can draw it, then you can make a story about it.
absolutely.
And that's true of animation as well. If you can draw it, you can make a movie about it because you can draw literally anything. One of my favorite examples of this is the talking rock scene from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
It's just rocks with googly eyes and text on the screen, but it's part of a story so much that you're like, what are these rocks going to do? What are they?
Right,
It's
like
so
the rocks
dramatic.
didn't seem out of place in that movie. They of
Hey,
course.
and that's a powerful
Talking
scene
rock.
too, because
Like-
the mother and the daughter, and they're talking, and that's a powerful scene.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like you
And
can really do anything. This is beautiful. That is beautiful. That just brought a smile to my face. I might rewatch that movie this weekend.
Good.
Just off of that.
It's so good. And you don't even have to draw well. Social media, Blue Sky, yay. Of course I follow Scott McCloud because you have to. You have to follow Scott McCloud.
Hey, Blue Sky's starting to gain a little bit of traction, in my opinion, honestly. I'm starting to see a little bit of success on there.
Yeah, I like it a lot. But he posted a few days ago, I think just this week, he said, this is just your reminder that the quality of your drawing is not as important as what you put in that panel. As long as you can understand what it is, it doesn't have to be drawn super well. You can still draw a super poignant story, even if you don't draw well. It's all in the story.
Yeah.
I mean, if the story's good enough, I really don't care how flashy the artwork is.
Now, if the story is bad and the art is also not that great, then
well, then you gotta keep working on it.
You gotta look at it long enough, man. Like,
be like, I'm looking, JJ. I'm looking.
Still don't enjoy what my eyes are seeing.
You gotta keep working. You gotta keep working on it. And it's interesting. Comics are so unique in that you draw something usually because you want other people to read it. So if other people read it and they give you feedback, it's good to listen sometimes, depending on who's giving you the feedback. If someone who doesn't know anything about comics picks up your book and they're like, I don't understand what's happening, then that's not good generally. Clarity is so important.
You want it to at least be easy to follow. Like, okay, I can at least tell this is the order I'm supposed to read it in.
Yeah.
Well, I think that I don't know. All the creators I know now are comic book readers or comic book fans. Like they were fans or readers first. So they know what it's like.
Their eyes.
So I think that I think it's important to never lose touch with that. Is like what, and I treat the same way when I'm working a table at a Comic-Con. Like, how would I want to be treated as a customer, as a reader? And I try and translate that into the work and also my presence at any con or expo.
Yeah. Do you want someone barking at you, or do you want
just a little? No, I'm just no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
In the Inqua After Dark, everybody. Yeah.
Stay tuned. No. But I think that's a good spot to start getting everybody out of here. I know it's starting to get late. So
I do have one thing to say.
Go ahead.
Mike says,
because I want to because I know we've all talked about like you have to work to get good at something, right? You have to keep practicing, right? Practice, right? For anybody that's listening to this, I know the phrase is practice makes perfect, right? I hate that phrase. I hate that phrase. Because like what is perfect, right? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder and all of that. I always like to say that practice makes permanent, right? Look at some of like the great artists that we have had throughout time. If you take their first piece of artwork, it looks really different than the artwork that they have today. They practiced, they got really good at one style or how they were drawing at the time, and then they added little tweaks here and there and just kept doing it until they became consistent. So I've always been a big believer of practice makes permanent.
I love that so much. Because I also
leave it to the youngest one on the stream.
With
like the most insightful thing of the whole podcast.
I'm a little wise beyond my years, a little bit.
Woo, nice.
That's why you get paid the big bucks, right?
Keep showing up. Just keep showing up.
Keep showing up.
That's right.
But why don't everybody go ahead, let everybody know where they can find you online, where they can check out more of your guys' work. I want everybody to make sure they go and follow everybody this time. Any of you can start whenever.
Oh yeah.
Jay.
At Mess Comics, MESSED Comics, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram. Shutting down my Twitter.
Noted. I'll stop tagging you there.
I'm Winged Elf Girl on Instagram and Blue Sky and TikTok. Those are my three main ones right now. Like I have a Twitter, but only because I'm very, very slowly going through my lists that I've built up for 14 years to find people on other sites.
Yeah.
For me, you could find me on. I'm just going to say this: if you don't see the green logo of MTS Comics in the platform, I'm not there, because all my platforms are all MTS Comics. They all have the green logo, and there's a reason for that. So
I was say I've never seen Matt not in that logo. So
very consistent.
We talked about. I know we're trying to wrap it up, but we talked about how some of the things in one of the questions in the con was just how do you work through some of the stuff. Well, I'm an extreme introvert and I don't always talk. So, and Lauren is an extreme extrovert, so she does the talking for us. But it's one of those things where if I do get into a conversation, I have something that people remember me by. I wear this, and it's. I think one time we had someone came to the. I even wear it when we go to the meetups most of the time. I remember somebody kind of said, "Hey, I know I was in the right place because I saw the logo," that sort of thing. And so it's
like, hey, I'm over here.
Brand recognition.
That's kind of how it is. I hope that if somebody has a good experience with me, I have something on me that they have that good experience. And if they have that bad experience, I hope they forget. No.
Remember Matt for the logo, and remember me for being a blabbermouth.
Well, hey, if we don't have blabbermouths on the show, we don't have much of a show. So
yes, blabbermouths are necessary.
Just a bunch of boxes going.
So next time somebody tells you you're talking too much, be like, "Well, fine, I'll just go start a podcast." I'll find someone who likes to listen to me talk. Damn it!
I'm gonna get that comment later this evening.
I apologize for that if that causes problems.
Oh,
Whoops.
But also, I want to make sure
Oopsie.
before we sign off to thank everybody watching and listening, especially our listeners over on Spotify, because we got our Spotify wrap up information not too long ago. We gained 5 new top fans in 2024 with an average 5-star rating. Our top episode was with Kevin Rodatelli from Massive Publishing. And then we've got 8 countries we're being streamed in, including the USA, United Kingdom, Spain, Malta, France, Denmark, Colombia, Iraq, Canada, and Norway. So I want to thank everybody who's supported us so far for this first year of the Indie Inkwell. We got a bunch of good stuff planned and in store for 2025. This is going to be our last episode of the year. So everybody, please stay tuned to see what we've got coming up here in the next year. My name is JJ. His name is Michael. That's Jay. That's Lauren. That's Matt. Everybody stick around for a second after we stop going live, and we'll hang out for another minute or two. So everybody, please be safe, be kind, and please take it easy.
Huzzah!